Hi, welcome to the volume controls section tutorial of the complete volume pump strategy. And once you've added the complete volume pump strategy to your chart, in your inputs tab is where you have all your strategy settings. In this video, we're just going to go over the volume controls, but there's many other settings you can use in addition to it. But we just want to get you acquainted with the volume controls. First thing you'll do in any strategy, though, is select your backtesting dates. So you can literally put any day, month, and year here in the past or in the future and only look for those dates. I like keeping a future date for the end year. That way, as price actions continuing to move forward in time, our strategy is populating in real time. Here you also have a time zone offset, and I happen to be the UTC -7, so I just make it the same thing, -7, to match that, so we have some sync here. Okay, for volume controls, let me take this off for a second and show you what we have here on the screen. So what I did first is just add the standard Tradingview volume indicator, which is going to show you the amount of volume up here. And this yellow line is the volume moving average over a certain time period. And right now I have that time period to be the last 20 candles or bars. So with that being said, just so you can see how the volume is actually working on the screen, when we go to the complete volume pump strategy, the volume controls, we have so many different ways to measure and look and detect volume. And the first one we have here is we can look for volume percent above the volume moving average. So say, for example, I want to find entries that are 100% or double the volume moving average. I can just click here, and you can change this to any number you like, by the way. It can be 1%, 10%, 100%, 50%, 32.78%, whatever you want. It's adjustable to 100%. But I'm going to look for entries that are 100% above the volume moving average. And here you see we get an entry. So you can see here, the yellow, the volume moving average there was 10,000, and this is actually 3 times the volume moving average. So that qualified as an entry. Now we do have where these green, very light green backgrounds. These are also other areas that could enter, but since we entered a trade here and we're already in a trade, we're not going to re-enter the trade since we're already in one. But if we had exited a trade here, these would actually be new trade entries. So anytime we have the green background, our triggers have been fulfilled. So let's say we want to use a higher volume. Let's see this one here, maybe like a 500% above the volume moving average. Okay, there we go. So that was a trigger there, and now we could enter here. So very simple, very straightforward. We also have a use percent below volume moving average. If you want to look for times where there's very low volume, those could be very good buying opportunities when there's no buyers in the market. We also have here, and oh, by the way, it's your volume moving average is set right here. So you would set this to whatever you want. And then both of these settings, the above or below volume MA, are controlled by this volume moving average you set right here. Can't use them together. Obviously, they would cancel each other out. So you either use above or below, set your percent based on this volume moving average. Okay, moving on. We have use percent above last bar's volume. So say I want to find bars that are 50% higher than the last bar. I can do that by selecting this. So here we go. We have our first entry here. That was definitely 50% more than this bar, so this qualified as an entry. And now as long as we stay in that trade until we exit, I'll be in that trade a long time. There we go. We had an exit there. So all these other potential entries here that are signified by the screen background, we skipped over because we were still in the trade and we exited there. But now the first new entry came over here, we entered again. And you can select that over any amount of bars, any amount of volume, all up to you. This one's literally just the opposite. If we want to use percent below the last bar's volume, you can do that here. If you want to look for volume patterns of rising volume, let's say you want to look for patterns like this, for example, we have this volume, this raise, this raise, this raise. You could find that by using this. So let's say just every bar increases by 10% over the last 4 bars. Okay, we're actually still in a trade here. Well, you can actually see it here. This didn't trigger because we already were in a trade, but here we have these last 4 bars. It was 10% higher. We triggered our trade. Actually turned out to be a nice entry right there. You can do the opposite if you're looking for declining volume. You can do that also. So here we actually had declining volume. And that's why we entered right there. Another example here. I'm sorry, that was the long exit. Here's a long entry, declining volume, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we entered right there. So that's how that works, where you can look for rising or declining volume. If you just want to look for a certain amount of total volume over the last amount of bars, you can do that here too. So let's say, for example, we want to look for 100,000 shares of Amazon sold in the last 6 bars. There you go. You can literally change that number to anything you want. And that's how the volume controls work. That's just one part of it. You have price action, you have liquidity, breakout controls, filters, and these can be used all with each other. You don't just have to use volume by itself, but just wanted to just focus purely on volume in this particular video. And we have other videos on the other sections of the strategy too. So thanks for watching. Happy trading, and make sure to watch the other control videos on the settings. Thank you.